This is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Corey provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Corey Sickles, representing the team here at Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you would like more information about the insights on today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're exploring our website, be sure to navigate to that radio page. There you can catch up on previous shows and even subscribe to our program through popular podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. For engaging visual content on various financial subjects, feel free to drop by our YouTube page as well. Just search for Safe Harbor Retirement Group. You can also listen and watch our Financially Fit Radio show on YouTube as well. You know, we're here to address any inquiries that you might have or to arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. And remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority, so let us know how we can assist you the best. Today, we're going to talk about on how to build reliable income in retirement. You know, the easy part of retirement or saving for retirement is the actual savings part. The most difficult thing is to actually create an income stream that you're not going to actually outlive. But before we dive into that topic today, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Corey. Had a great weekend and looking forward to this one. Been busy this week, though, during the week, but I am enjoying, we've had some decent weather, enjoying that. How about you? What have you been up to?
You know, it's definitely fall. It's hard to believe we're already going to be going into December here. We're going to be having our toy drive here on December 7th. You know, we're part of the Big Ten TV toy drive here. We're one of the main sponsors for it. It's our 9th year in a row, and it's a good way not only for us, the employees here at Safe Harbor, but it's a great way for our clients and even, some of our listeners. We have a lot of people that drop toys off at our location. We give all that to them on December 7th. The Salvation Army and WBNS Channel 10, they do a fantastic job of the toy drive. So we're proud to be a sponsor of that as well.
Yeah, and if our listeners want to drop off some toys, they can drop them off there at Safe Harbor or at one of the other locations, right?
Yep, you can drop them off at our Dublin or Easton location, and we'll make sure that the kids get it. The whole goal of this thing is to put a smile on a kid's face when they wake up on Christmas morning, and that's really what this is all about. Is giving back a little bit. So
yeah, I think that's great. And if they want to get the address, they can just go to safeharboroh.com.
That's exactly right. Safeharboroh.com. You can always give us a call at 614-760-0670. And again, you can drop those toys off at either our Dublin or our Easton office. So
that sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, I really would encourage our listeners to contribute. I know that's a big thing you like to do, and it helps out so many families and children in need. That's really great, Corey, that you give back to the community in that way.
Yeah, we definitely try to be able to do that. That's a good way to be able to do it. But it's hard to believe 2024 is approaching.
And the year just flew by.
It does. And obviously, January, February, and March are usually key milestone dates for some people to retire. It's probably some of our most popular months for people to retire, start that new year off the right way. And, I think we have a good topic today, how to build reliable income in retirement. And, the one thing I kind of would like to do, Tony, real quick, is just kind of talk about what we actually think about income. And it's actually pretty difficult. And if you really think about it, I'm going to actually use, Mount Everest as an example, right?
Okay.
And, here's the way I kind of look at it. When you're actually climbing to get to that peak, I want everyone to kind of think about that. And that's really what you're doing during your accumulation stage, right? You're climbing. Once you reach that peak, you're at retirement. And it can be difficult, right? And a lot of times when you're trying to accumulate, making sure you have that retirement plan, if you're going to do that, you're going to have a guide or a Sherpa, right? To be able to make sure that you're going to be able to make that adventure up there.
Yep. And everybody's goal is usually to get to the top, and that's what they plan the most for.
That's exactly right. That's what you do plan for. But what a lot of people don't realize, it's just as difficult to come down Mount Everest as well. And you need a guide to be able to help you be able to do that. And that's really what a financial advisor is. In some years, Tony, there's more people that actually die descending Mount Everest than they do actually trying to be able to get to that peak.
That's what I've heard, that more people have died on the way down than going up. And it's because of lack of planning for coming down.
That's exactly right. Everyone try to focus on just being able to get there.
Hey, I reached the top.
That's exactly right.
Right.
And really, when you start thinking about income planning, or the one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you safely come down. And a lot of that has to really do with safety. I'm not going to run out of money. And if you don't do the right things, and if you're not working with the right type of an advisor, you're going to have a difficult time coming down Mount Everest. So our job here at Safe Harbor is to be able to make sure that not only do you reach that peak, that you come down safely and you have the retirement that you want. Maybe you have money left over. It's going to go to your beneficiaries or anything like that. But I think a lot of people think, hey, I made it. I'm ready to retire, and I can just kind of retire and take money out. And I'm just telling you right now, the most difficult thing for people to realize is there's a lot of obstacles coming down that mountain. Inflation. I think a lot of people figured that out over the last 2 or 3 years. Things cost more, which means every year that if you retire today, let's just say you want to retire at $50,000, that needs to be over $75,000 or $76,000, 20 years from now. Inflation goes up. If you want to have the same spending power, you just need to be able to make sure that you have those income increases. And that's where it can really get difficult to be able to make sure that you're planning the right way. And, another obstacle, of course, could be volatility in the market. What happens if, you're not allocated the correct way and 20% of your nest egg is gone in 1 year? People get nervous. So I think it's so important to be able to work with an advisor just to make sure that not only do you reach that peak, but you come down on the right side as well.
Yeah, and you pointed out at the beginning of the show, something you said really struck me, Corey, and that is how easy it is really for a lot of people. And like you say, there can be some struggles, but saving is one thing. What we're doing is we're taking our income and using it for savings, to create a savings. And during our working years, we're so used to doing that. That's such a commonplace thing. They automatically take money out of your paycheck each week and put it into a retirement account for you. That is the part that people, I think, don't struggle with as much. Some do, but I think that's the easy part. But the problem is when you retire, you have to completely do the exact opposite of that. Instead of using your income for savings, you're going to have to take all your savings and use it for income.
That's exactly
right. And it's really hard, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, if you don't have a plan to make sure that, that your money's going to last 20, 30, 35 years, people are living a lot longer. You don't want to live in poverty when you're 90. I mean, you just don't want to be able to do that if you don't have to. So, of course, one of the first things that you need to kind of do, and that's what we do when we meet with you and start doing some of this planning, is, I know everyone hates the word budget, but we have to kind of get an idea of is how much money do you need on a monthly basis to cover your expenses? And, a lot of times, even within that budget, because one of the things that you really should do is you should budget your vacations as well. That should be part of your monthly budget. You shouldn't have to be coming in and saying, here's my budget. And then, hey, Corey, I need, Safe Harbor, I need $10,000 to go on a vacation. that should be part of your budget. So when you do go on vacations, you're not tapping additional money into that, into your savings as well. And, of course, everyone hates that. But, when you do retire, you are on a budget. So the earlier that we can get a projection of what you need, the better off that you're going to be able to, be. And the other side of it is hopefully going into retirement, you also have that emergency fund, right? So maybe you don't have to tap into that additional savings that you have in your retirement funds. And, we all know that some things come up unexpected, right? I mean, all of a sudden your stove goes out, or your dishwasher, or it could be, or all of a sudden you got a $1,500 bill on your car. Those things kind of happen, and that's why it's so important to be able to say, hey, I can tap into my emergency fund. I'm not going to take money out of my retirement accounts, get taxed additional money if you don't do that the right way. So, being able to have a budget, having emergency funds, two things you have to make sure that you have, and hopefully you don't have too much debt going into retirement as well.
Yeah. Yeah, debt is another big one. I mean, you've alluded to a few things that can throw wrenches into a retirement income plan. And inflation, you mentioned that right off the bat, and that's a biggie. And people don't usually plan for inflation. Like you say, people hit retirement and think I can just start taking money out of my retirement accounts. But where are those accounts? Where is that money at? And if taking it out at the wrong time could really cost you a lot more. So you need to, a lot of it has to do with asset allocation as well, right?
It does. Your risk tolerance, and making sure you're allocated based upon that risk tolerance it's key while you're saving, but it's especially important when you're retired to make sure that you're allocated, the correct way as well. And, really when we start talking about income planning, the first thing that we always have to talk about, because it's the foundation of your initial retirement plan, and that's Social Security. So, we have a Social Security maximization report we can provide you to find out. So you can just kind of see all the different ages, all the different calculations that we can do to find out what's going to be your best situation to be able to maximize those benefits. That's a report that we can provide you. But that, once we have the Social Security, and there's some individuals out there that still get pensions. They're going away, but there's still some baby boomers out there that have pensions. And of course, if you can get Social Security plus a pension, and that's even, that's always great as well. But kind of once you get past that Social Security and past the pensions, now everything else is coming from what you have saved. Right?
Right.
And obviously you want to make sure you're diverse. That's one thing that we do here. You want to make sure that you're allocated the correct way. As we kind of go through the planning process and the amount of income that you want to need, and everyone's situation is different, we can kind of lay that, what I consider that foundation too, down, another foundation. And that is, do you need maybe an income annuity to be able to make sure if you don't have a pension, an income annuity can actually be layered on top of your income plan to give you some of that guaranteed income in retirement, just like you would get from Social Security or just like you would get from a pension.
Well, exactly. And so I think that creating your own personal pension, making sure you're maximizing your Social Security, these are things that we can't stress enough. And I know that's why you bring them up on a lot of different shows, because people need to hear this, and they need to understand that you need to plan for it. And there are a lot of ins and outs. So if our listeners out there, Corey, have questions or want to set up that no charge, no obligation consultation, how can they get a hold of you and your team there at Safe Harbor?
The easiest, obviously the easiest way is to visit our website at safeharboroh.com. But you also can give us a call at 614-760-0670. Again, we're here to help you and guide you to make sure that you're going to have that retirement that you want. And the best way to do that is to put a financial plan in place. If you don't have one, or if you do have one, we can be that second set of eyes and provide a second opinion. Again, just give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit our website at safeharboroh.com to schedule that complimentary no obligation meeting with us.
All right, sounds great, Corey. And listeners, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more of Financially Fit Radio and our host, Corey Sickles, after this.
There are 96 different months you could file for Social Security benefits. There's over 9,000 combinations if you are married. But that's not all. There's advanced filing strategies that can also be used. By the time you factor it all in, there are over 20,000 calculations that need to be run to find the best way to file for Social Security benefits. To request your complimentary Social Security Maximization Report from Safe Harbor Retirement Group, visit safeharboroh.com. The Social Security Maximization Report will tell you exactly what to do and exactly when to do it.
Welcome back to Financially Fit Radio. If you'd like more information about today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to address any inquiries you might have or to even arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. And remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority, so let us know how we can assist you the best. You can give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com. Well, Tony, so far we've really been just talking about how to build reliable income. Of course, we talked about budgeting an emergency fund. We just kind of talked about Social Security, if you have a pension, how that can really be your foundation. And now we started to kind of dive into a little bit of your investments, making sure you're allocated the correct way. And we also talked about creating your own pension too, and that you can do that with an annuity. The odd part about an annuity is that, you're going to get a certain amount of money off of that. It doesn't matter whether the market's up or down, right? And it's a good way to be able to, hopefully you're in a decent annuity. We actually recommend, usually the ones that we recommend are ones that can increase over time to keep up with inflation. And, I had a Zoom meeting with one of my clients earlier in the week, and he goes, "There's nothing better than seeing those annuities deposited into my account every month." So, it's nice, it's reliable, it's going to be able to be there. Just like anything, you don't put all your money into it, but I think but everyone's situation is different. But I do firmly believe that everyone should have a portion of their assets in an annuity, because you're be able to create some of that guaranteed income or that income stream that you're going to be able to need in retirement.
Yeah, it's good to know you have a certain amount coming in each month, and Social Security isn't going to be enough. So you've got that amount, Social Security, plus if you have like a fixed index annuity and you're getting monthly payments from it, you have a lifetime contract for the annuity, you're going to get payments every month as long as you live, and it's the same with Social Security. So basically, you've created your own pension. Now, you'll probably have other income or need other income in other areas, like you say, so you'll have some still maybe tied to the stock market. You might have them in other things. So I know that you like to make sure there's a well-balanced portfolio for people, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's always good to have a portion into an annuity. It's good to have, you got to invest in stocks as well. To be able to keep up with inflation long term.
Like an IRA or a Roth or something
exactly
like
right.
That. Yeah.
Well, that's another good point that you just kind of threw out there. IRA and Roth, Tony. So obviously when we start talking about income planning, the one thing that everyone cares about, this is all they always talk to me about, and that is well, I need $6,000 a month. And they're not talking gross, they're talking net of taxes.
Net, yeah.
They want the net amount.
After taxes.
They want after taxes. That's exactly right. And really, you can't build an income plan, or, if we have time to help prepare for this, is you want to have as much tax-free money as potentially possible.
Yeah.
If you can put money into a Roth, or maybe you look at, if we work with you, maybe we convert money from if the situation's the right for you, then maybe you convert some of that traditional IRA money to a Roth. Pay your taxes now, let it grow tax-free, and then when you're retired, it's tax-free. I'm a firm believer it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And a good way to be able to do that is have a solid tax strategy or tax planning going into retirement. You have to be able to do that. We've talked on the show, I don't know how many times, Tony, that we're at our lowest tax rates ever. There's only one way they're going to go. They're not going down. The only thing it's going to do is go up. We're at our lowest tax rates of all time. Yeah. So you have to be able to make sure that you're planning for the future. And the good way to be able to do that is to make sure that you do have a tax strategy heading into retirement. Or if you are retired today, we can even help you now to be able to prepare for, later on in life as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, Corey. And you have to be able to plan ahead. You have to understand these things. And, taxes always seem to play a part of any financial conversation we have on the show each week. But a lot of people don't understand. They think, well, I'm not working, so I won't be in a very high tax bracket. I'm going to pay a lot less taxes. I don't need to worry about taxes. But they have these tax-deferred accounts, which they like because it affects their current tax year. By putting money into that 401k or that IRA, those are tax-deferred accounts, so they don't have to pay taxes on that money now. But when they need it in retirement, all the growth and all the principal, anything you pull out is taxed at full income rates, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's why you just want to make sure that 100% of your income in retirement is not going to be taxed.
Right.
The closer you can have that to zero, besides Social Security or maybe your pension, the better off you're going to be long term.
And that's where the Roth IRA, Roth 401k, cash value life insurance policy, these are things that are in the tax-free bucket, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, obviously another big one that we actually talk a lot about. And again, every situation, everyone's different. But it can make sense to put money into a life insurance policy, and it's not really designed for death benefit. If something does happen, of course, it's going to pay a death benefit, but it's a good way to be able to create tax-free income in retirement as well. You really need to be able to make sure that not only do you have an income plan, but if something happens to one of you, how's that other spouse supposed to survive as well? And that's what I think when you start working with a financial advisor, we're going to be holistic about all this stuff. We talked about a lot of different things that you need to have with an income plan. And that's why I think you really want to work with someone, Safe Harbor. We specialize, with clients that are trying to be able to retire and then work with them while they're in retirement.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense. And so you have to have a plan in place.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Exactly. Go back to the original story at the very beginning, right? If you're going to climb Mount Everest, you need to have a plan getting up. You need to have a plan, make sure you get down safely coming down that mountain. And that's really what we can do for a lot of our clients. That's what we do for a lot of our clients. Is we want to make sure you reach that peak, and we want to make sure you come down that mountain safely.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great, Corey. And with that, we'll have to wrap up the show. We're almost out of time. Before we go, though, for our listeners, I know you have a special offer and a way they can contact you if they have any questions, right?
Yeah, I do. For our listeners out there, just give us a call at 614-760-0670. Or again, you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. Remember, all of our meetings are complimentary. There's no obligation. We're here to help to make sure that you have the retirement that you dream of. And the best way to be able to do that is to put a financial plan in place. And if you don't have one, we will put one in place for you. If you have one, again, we can provide that second opinion. And again, we just want to make sure that you have the best retirement that you possibly can. And again, give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com.
All right. Sounds great, Corey. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Join us next week for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Corey Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.